Let's go into the everyday carry with Firenza. Now, when you say everyday carry, I start to think about Dane Richardson and Trigger Maestro. He has a company that he trains people to use firearms. So it says everyday carry kind of triggers me, and no pun intended. Pun maybe intended. But what are things we need to have with us all the time, JJ?
So for me, it's when I put this, I was just thinking, you know what? I think Dane would love this
Yeah,
next part.
I knew you had Dane in mind when you said everyday carry with Firenza.
Oh man, man, working with him for 3 years, I learned that we are not prepared. No, I should have listened a little deeper. But man, I'll tell you what, I'm
Yeah,
glad I
for those that
listened to
don't know
what I
Dane
know.
Richardson, he's the ultimate prepper, man. He's got a bunker at his house.
Yeah, that's that we know of.
Yeah, I told him one time, I said, "Man, if everything goes to pot or whatever," and said, "I'm gonna come to your house." And he goes, "Don't come to my house. You have no marketable skills in my bunker." Here's the
I wondered if the new band hall in Holiday.
yeah, I said, "I don't need a band technician. I don't." I said, "I need someone who can skin a deer." So he put me in that place. Okay, I'll just stay away. Okay, sorry, Justin.
Survive with
Yeah.
Dane Richardson.
Oh Lord, help us.
Here.
All right, back on track. Back on track. Sorry, Dane. We just had to do a shout out. So Dane,
Of course.
yeah, you'll listen to this.
So your everyday carry as a teacher, in my opinion, should be your phone. I know that's shocking. And your wallet. I know again, that's shocking for a lot of people. Um, I didn't put it on here, but it will be shocking. Keys. I know. Once again, everyone should
Know where they are?
know where your keys are.
So many teachers leave them in their desk. They leave all their school keys in their desk. I had a principal that went around and took keys out of the desk while the teacher was teaching, and then they would call them later. They say, "I can't find my keys." Yeah, because I took them out of your desk while you were teaching, just like a kid could.
Bad. That's funny too.
But yeah, you need to have them on your body. I know it's a mess because as a band director, you're kind of like a custodian. You've got like 400 keys on a thing. It feels like it, you know. It's but yeah, have your keys.
Mhm. And you should also I don't have a well idea, but I don't want to pull it out. Your little ID for your school district because I think you actually taught me this lesson. Like if you have to give a report or you have to talk to like another teacher about someone else's, like some other school's kid that was doing something they weren't supposed to be doing,
Yeah,
they can take a
I remember
picture
having
of
that
this.
discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they took a picture of my ID.
Mhm.
Say, "This is what happened. Your child did this during all region tryouts." And I'd hold my ID. Let's take a picture of this.
Mhm.
And they would take a picture and keep it on their phone. Said that way you know who to come back to
Yeah.
for this. It's a lot easier to do that to get the information out. So yeah. So yeah, always have your ID on you. Don't put all that stuff in your desk drawer or throw it underneath your podium or
Yeah.
whatever. Have it on your body. So even if you have to wear a stupid little backpack or
Mhm.
be 1980s and have a fanny pack. I don't know.
I'm sure a student felt attacked at this point because I think I have a couple that do the fanny pack thing now.
Yeah, that's coming back in vogue now. I noticed at Disneyland. So
I don't.
there's lots of fanny packs out there now.
They got air tags now, so you definitely not gonna lose them.
Well, yeah.
But another thing is this is where it gets a little strange. I carry a pen with me everywhere. And the reason why you might carry a pen is because you might need to write something down that will go away very quickly. Like for instance, license plate. I'm terrible with names and
Yeah.
I'm terrible with
Me too.
numbers and remembering short things. It's great. So I carry my little pen around. But mine's a little bougie. It's an Olight where you can actually it's a little flashlight and also it has a laser pen attachment to it. So I can actually when the drill your marching show is really bad and Billy is the one it's like right here, see this? That's Billy right there. Um and everyone's like, yes, that's not cool. And we're like, well, March better.
That's where hands pick was. Cool's not part of the equation.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, it's cool being and crazy. Wow.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Another thing is this is where my students for the long every time I go work somewhere new, they make fun of me for this. I carry a small flashlight with me everywhere I go. This is True Night. I think it's actually from Archer, but it's just small enough where you can just hold in your hand, and it's also really bright. That you can use it pretty easily. And again, the Amazon's a great place to get all that stuff. But man, How many times have you tried finding a leak and you had to do like on clarinet where you
Yeah.
had to cover up all the holes and blow through and like, sit weird and
Yep.
yeah, you don't have to do that with a light that
You
gets that bright.
put it up to the belly, you
Mhm.
can see it. You can see it.
Or on the saxophone, there's something wrong with it and it's just like turn that on. I have my own little leak light with me.
Yeah. Those are things I've learned from JJ, by the way. I carry all that in my clinic bag. So I have all that stuff, plus some first aid stuff,
Yes.
plus my hearing protection,
Yeah.
because the older we get, or for you young guys out there and young gals, protect your hearing, man.
That's a
Ear erasers are great. It's a great company, by the way.
who you need to get on the podcast and talk about that. Keith.
Yep.
Jordan.
Yeah.
He'll put everybody in their place. We'll see. Everybody will have
Yep.
earbuds by the time we're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
I need to go to that next level where you get the form fitted and
yeah,
get the wax mold and all that. So yeah, because that'll solve a lot, and it does tie into mental health things. So there's a lot of correlation and connection between losing hearing and mental health.
yes.
Mental health.
Tinnitus is a heck of a thing.
Yeah.
Actually,
Or just not segmenting yourself because you can't hear conversation correctly.
yeah.
It's like I'm just going to sit at the table.
Mhm.
I'm not going to talk because I can't really understand what people are saying.
Yeah, and there was a time I had those what's it called? Walker, the shooting range kind of ones
Yeah.
with the foam and stuff. I used to actually put those on at TMEA and TBA because it's so loud in there. It
Yeah.
just to kind of starts triggering me. But what was nice about those, they have microphone attachments, so you can actually turn them up, so you can actually hear the conversation, and when the conversation's over, you can turn them back down. So they were kind of like hearing aids, but not exactly hearing aids. But that helped me out quite a bit in those kind of situations. Also, because real talk, not all trumpet players can play screamers. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Jeezy needs to be okay with that. Try a pedal tone.
I'm
I'm
going to go home and practice on my flugel now.
So I'll be careful how I say this, but as a person who has a booth at our MEA every year, it's amazing how many times we wind up right next to the Shuki Mouthpiece booth. And every trumpet player in the state of Texas is trying to see how high they can play. And eventually you're just like,
It's okay. You can get onto the tuba players. It's just they're trying to do the sub pedal notes or whatever.
We'll throw this out there. There's that company Ear Erasers. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
It's a very inexpensive and very effective tool where you can hear the band.
Yes.
And it has you put it in your ear and it has a little antenna thing on it where you can hear the higher frequencies, but it's not overbearing.
Yes.
So if someone's looking for something to help out in that category and they don't want to spend a lot of money, it's about $40.
Yeah.
For a good pair. You can buy them on Amazon. And I used them in the band director's marching band because 350 of us in one banquet hall.
Yeah.
Running through our music, and it was like, no, Mike Lenny's going to put on his hearing protection.
It's like waterboarding with sound.
Yes.
All right.
And some didn't have the music as memorized as well as they probably should have, so it's better not to hear all of them.
First out, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right.
so ear protection is part of your everyday carry.
Yeah, it's part of your everyday carry.
Especially pepper hollies.
And this next one, I always carry this with me in my clinic bag, and they never ask me about it when I check in. They probably will if they listen to this podcast, but I always keep a Leatherman tool in there because it's always valuable to have. Now, you can do that if you're a guest coming into a school. They might frown upon that. You know what I mean? But if you're the band director, I think that's something good to have, some kind of toolkit. Yeah, there we go.
And
mine was taken by the airport one time because I was stupid enough to forget to take it out of my briefcase. And I was like, someone got a nice Leatherman tool.
it's in evidence.
It's in evidence, yeah. He went home one night.
And this next part actually with the, go off your district guidelines.
Yeah.
But I really strongly recommend, carrying the next things like a folding knife.
Yeah.
I do believe it doesn't have to be like people go like, you call that a knife? This is a knife. No, don't.
Al Dundee, mate.
Yeah. And it doesn't need to be a set blade. Just get a folding knife because really and truly, it's more like I use it more as a screwdriver than anything else. And then of course you can go with the old fashioned Swiss Army knife. type deal with all the attachments, the multi-tool, like the Leatherman. I have one of those in my my little go bag, and then I have what's called a band tool. I don't know if
That's cool.
yeah.
I saw you showed it to me one time. That was really cool.
Now my only problem with it is it's very
Bulky.
It's real bulky. But I mean it's great. It has pliers on it that's for instruments like the jewelry pliers. It's smooth edged. It has it has it has all kinds of things. It has a little knife on it. It also has the spring crochet pin looking things that you can pull.
Spring needle set. Yeah.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
Those are words. I don't.
Those are
apparently.
they use your words, JJ.
It also has 2 sets of like flathead screwdrivers. You know, it's got all kinds of little things. Oh, and a drum key, because you always need a drum key. I swear, carry your drum key.
Yeah, and a lot of guys will carry those. Like when I do clinics, I have my little briefcase thing, and you can use the key chain leash that's in it, and I just hook all that to it, and that way I know exactly where it's also. I don't have to dig around for it. I just pull it. I go. Put it to the outside, so just a little hack and put in there. But yeah, it's good to have all that stuff because when you need it, you need it. You know.
And this is like just me in the classroom kind of deal because I don't know how many times this happened to you. I know I can't count. This Firenza, my instrument doesn't work. Let me see it. All right, here. Well, you know, it's usually that quick, but if you don't have those tools on you, you can't fix it.
My favorite is the alto sax player that says, I can't, my horn doesn't work. Where's your end cap? I don't know. I had it the other day. Aha. So it's gone up in the horn.
Yeah.
It's like they think I'm brilliant. It's kind of like my grandsons. I have a VHS player with Disney. They think I'm in possession of some unknown modern technology.
Yes.
They've never seen a VHS tape player before,
Well,
so the kids, they think you're a genius because you can turn the saxophone over and go, oh, I've seen this 100 times, ka-tink,
yes.
and give it back to them. And it's fun to be brilliant, even though we're not.
Yes.
It's fun to be perceived as brilliant.
Or the G sharp key, and it's just like, oh, you do this, and you know, paper towel it real quick, and it's like, here, oh, you fixed it. I know, I'm amazing.
Yeah. That'll be $45. Thank you.
And you're welcome. Anyway, but so, and then the next part of this one is the every contest carry.
Oh yeah, let's go for it.
And I probably did not put everything I would actually bring. You bring what your experience has taught you.
Yeah.
Is what I'll go with that. I would try to carry everything in a toolbox or a tackle box or something. You know, have a folding knife, Swiss Army knife, multi-tool, band tool, and then have your reeds and have many of them.
Yeah.
Because, you know, rain is a thing. Ruins them immediately. Have valve oil because those really hot days in Texas in October are still there. They won't go away. Rotary oil, you know. Have your slide grease, have your Slido mix, pliers, like just straight up normal pliers, or I put down jewelry pliers, because, you know, it's really, I know a lot of people probably wouldn't do this, but if you know how to rebend the rod back enough to where the instrument will work, go for it. Especially at contest time, you might not, you know, have time to run over to the repair booth or, you know, right before you're marching on and say, hey, my flute doesn't play. You have a solo, right? Yeah. Awesome.
Sometimes we have to be the paramedic.
Yeah.
And we're not the doctor. So we just have to try to make do.
Always a screwdriver set too. Like those Stanley ones that are like with the little cap thing. And,
oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I can never find those, but for some reason, you know, every band hall I've been to has them. I just can't find them at anywhere, even Amazon. I just can't find them.
Yeah.
But I did eventually I'll get the iFixit kit, and it's got every little screwdriver thing you could ever use.
Just start over. And one really good band hack that we used, our load crew would load the tackle box. But then we had a piece of paper. I bought these tags from Amazon that sealed.
Okay.
And that way I could tell when it came back, it had been opened.
Oh, okay.
So if it had not been opened, I didn't worry about it. If it had been opened, I'd open it up and I would check through the inventory. I'd go, okay, we're missing this many reeds, we're missing a screwdriver, and I'd get it ready for the next one. So that way you don't have to check it every single time, you know, but you can buy those on Amazon. It's kind of like those deals you put on your wrist at concerts.
Hmm.
You do it like that, and they have to cut it or rip it off to get inside the tool chest.
That's kind of cool.
So it helps out. But yeah, have all that stuff, and I like have a flame lighter.
Mhm.
Yours has donuts on it.
Yes.
Was there a story here?
No, I just bought it at a gas station, and it just happened to have donuts on it.
Okay, I thought, man,
mean,
you
it's,
philosophical deal.
No.
All right.
So there's these moments where I learned some weird tricks. For some reason, this works. I learned this one from Tiata, who's at Seminole now.
Yeah.
There was I think a saxophone neck joint, and the cork had shrunk. So
Oh yeah.
and it just punk, And I was just like, well, we'll have to get it recorked. And she's like, we don't got time for that. And she pulls out her lighter and starts, doing and I was like, what are you doing? It's like, watch. And it actually expands
Yeah.
the cork, and you can put it back on.
You saw mute corks too.
Yes.
If the mute keeps falling out, just pull out the lighter.
And for some reason,
The kids always make some wisecrack. Mr. Lenny, how often do you smoke? So we're not going to talk about it.
depends. What's the key signature?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you should always have like a sewing kit,
Yeah.
especially for guard. Especially, I feel like they need that a lot because dude, color guard has changed dramatically in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Let alone when I was in school, which is in the double digits now. We're not going there, but I mean, it's such a different animal now. But of course, you have that kid that doesn't know how to roll their pants up so the pants aren't falling into their shoe.
Yeah.
So you have the technology to fix that. So here's Bantac for gauze tape or medical tape. Believe it or not for medical reasons, but for your kids with braces. So brass players and saxophone players and sometimes clarinet, when they have like braces and they have the wires and stuff like that, this can all get really messed up and rot up. So one of the things, and again, this is a Tiata thing. I learned this from. What you can do is you can take your medical tape, or what I found out this year is use your gauze tape. You cut a little piece of it, get it to about where it looks like it will cover up the braces, and put it right there. And then you play. The kids love it because now they're not in so much pain. They can play longer. They can, they're not having to worry about so much.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Like this past year, we had a saxophone trio. One of them, he's the very tallest one, you could tell, because the other two are also vertically challenged. So, he had to use that all the time because he got those braces, and it was just messing this up, and he couldn't play, and he was squeaking like crazy. And I asked him, it's like, is your instrument broken or something? And he's like, no, it's just this hurts. And I was like, oh, here. And I gave him some gauze tape because I didn't have medical tape on me at the second. And he put that over. And he's like, ever since then, he uses that like religiously. Every time he's about to play, he puts it on and it fits better. And I know they make what are those braces?
So Morgan brace bumpers, but they don't fit on all braces.
No.
But gauze tape does.
Yes. And I mean, I think, what did he tell me? He told me he gets like two runs of a marching show. So that's about 15 minutes. And then it starts doing weird stuff.
Yeah.
Starts tasting strange. I'm like, yeah, I could believe that. So, have a roll of that in there because you'll be shocked by, it's so simple, but it helps a lot. It really does. Those kids. And then of course, duct tape and zip ties. If you can't fix it with those, it broke.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I'll always try that. And now we get into what I like to call the every trip carry. Your everyday carry is a part of that. Your every contest carry is part of that.
Oh, I see. So it's like we're adding on as we go up the ladder.
So with this, always have your binders with your band information, with your health forms, have digital access to it, of course, but physical copies are great too. I know it's a lot, just load it up. It's okay. Everyone's going to be fine. The bus seating chart for all the buses and vehicles, even if you, I think most of the time, I know it's not the biggest, but I know sometimes they want, like if you have kids in a Suburban, like because you have to get a loading crew or something like that, I think you have to
for
keep
kids going to
trucking.
cross country or whatever, they're leaving at third
Mhm.
quarter or whatever.
And it's stuff like that. I think you still have to have a seating chart, and insurance would know where that stuff is too. And some school districts want that still too, because classroom management with vehicle.
Damn, where I was left out, hung out to dry, was on a jazz band trip in Temple, Texas, and a car ran into our jazz band van.
Mm.
And the police came on. That's the first thing they asked. Said, where was there? Because we took everyone out of because it was in the middle of the intersection.
Mhm.
So we took all the kids out to a safe portion of the intersection, so they're out of the deal. And that was the first thing they asked. Said, where's every kid situated? Did they have their seatbelts on? And the answers were no and no.
Mhm.
Because they did not all have their seatbelts on. We just we get lackadaisical about it. And it's so important, but especially in those 14 passenger vans, they just crawl all over the place, and they sit where they want to sit, and they move around. And I don't know. It's do it the right way.
Yes.
Don't do it like Mr. Lody does it.
These minor annoyances that, well, so and so doesn't make us do that. Well, I'm not so and so. Just move on. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
If the kids get mad at you, they'll forget about it when you give them
They-
pizza in about 2 hours. So it'll be okay. So I have this. We're about to see how crazy this gets. So I have a backpack that is my go bag.
I've seen it.
It's not the bag, but it is the go bag. The go bag
You could climb Mount Everest with that thing.
maybe.
You just need an oxygen tank.
Yeah.
You're ready to go. Man.
Funny enough, I thought about getting one of those. It's like after you train, you get some fresh air.
Readers.
Yeah, the rebreathers.
Yeah.
Or as I like to call the Spaceballs rip off, where you could finally. Oh man. Anyway, so inside that backpack, I have 3 flashlights, not including this. My brands are always Olight and Through Light, and there's other brands out there that are fine, but don't go with a brand that has strange names next to it and has 2 reviews on it. Might not be that great.
Yeah.
And it might not be a flashlight. You never know.
And we had really good luck with our flashlights. We found the ones that were chargeable by USB ports. And so that was a big band hack, because we were always changing batteries, and the batteries were, as soon as you needed a flashlight, the batteries were gone.
Always.
But they just came back, and they all plugged into a big bank behind the cabinet door, and it was great.
And that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And I have a variety of those things. I have a CPR mask with that as well.
Yeah.
And they make and you might actually be able to get some from your school nurse or from your athletic trainers, because they have all that kind of stuff all over the place.
yeah.
Medical people are hoarders, as I know, because I love my parents, but man, it's like, why do you have this? I don't know, might need it one day.
They've got a backboard in the closet.
Yeah. And then I catch myself going like, wait, why do I have this? Oh no. Oh,
You have
no.
become, it's like the Geico commercial.
It's better to have and not need, and need and not have. Then you put it back. But anyway, so the CPR mask is a great tool for that. Car window breaker and seatbelt cutter. You have one of those on you.
Yeah. I've got one mounted in my car.
I got 2 in my car, actually.
You can break out the window if I need to.
Just to tell you, Smith & Wesson makes a folding knife that has both of those on it.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
And if you have a Smith & Wesson anyway, you can just go ahead and just shoot out the window. But there's all kinds of, you got to make sure you know what's behind the window.
Don't do that. Don't say that.
Yeah,
I still have a place. Not sure that would pass most of the school districts' policy, but
Worst game.
We Dane. Just said a little bit low.
Oh my.
Dane, can you FaceTime me right now? Go ahead. I interrupted with my bad knowledge. But yeah, so we need some way to cut the seatbelts. We need some way to break windows if needed. Yeah.
Never know, you might need it. I carry a bottle of saline, and saline is so useful because you can use it as an eye wash, which most of the time this advertises that, but it's also good for like wound care.
Oh yeah.
A kid, skids their knee, and it looks like, oh gosh, it's usually not that bad, but you want to clean it up as much as you can. And saline is a great tool for that. And if you're allergic to saline, you're probably allergic to the planet Earth.
Yeah.
It's not probably.
I
Um,
see where you were going there.
it's very very concerning.
Yeah.
I also have an electric lighter with that. I've never had to use it, but I have it. Anyway, now here's a hit with the kids, especially when it gets really cold. Electric hand warmers.
Okay.
I don't need them because
Like the little flexi pad things or the or these like the
Houchers?
yeah, they're like, well, I should have brought my go bag. I knew.
Yeah, we should have brought that in here, man. That'd have been cool. It's amazing, Derek. You should see this utensil.
It they're basically they're little things that you can hold into. They're about the size of a phone, and I have one that can actually separate, and you can have one in one hand and one in the other hand
Okay.
and warm up. But I have those because my students are they get cold and stuff like that, and I being so strong and not needing these things, I let them borrow it during the football games and stuff. So, and I become the favorite teacher immediately when I do that.
Then you can tell them to do stuff.
Yes.
I still love you.
Yes, and then they'll roll their eyes still, but it's out of love, I promise. But yeah, the brands I suggested with that were Ocopa, which I have two of those, and the Ozark, which I low key stole from a kid, because they left it in the band hall, and I never found out whose it was.
And they didn't come ask.
Exactly. So, but I still have it in the band hall. So if they ever see it,
Thank you, student.
they can have it back if they tell me anyway. But anyway, so I use those all the time. Okay, and another great hit with the kids. You want to have? I have a portable charger bag. It's getting bad. My charger brands are like Anchor and Blavor. They're the ones that have the little solar panel thing, so that you can charge your bank with.
I've got some at home. I hate to admit that.
Don't hate. Carry as many as we can
because I've got to have my coffee. If all the electricity goes out, I can still run my coffee maker.
A coffee maker with a USB-C.
Yeah, I can run it from my charger port.
Have every cord, length, and kind known to mankind. Just do it. Because there have been instances, long football games, long days in general. Kids forget theirs, or the thing they brought to charge it doesn't work and stuff. Let them borrow it, because a kid now has a source to the outside world if needed. You never know. Because there was an incident actually, one school district, all the bus had a blowout, and it had to park on the side of the road, and nobody had service except for this one kid.
But their phone was dead.
But they're no. They were very responsible students.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had all that stuff figured out.
Oh.
But it was just one of those moments where it's like,
But it could have been.
It could have been, yeah. So, let them have it. Just make sure you remember who borrowed it, and if they said they gave it to somebody, hunt it down, because you'll get it that night or never again.
Yeah.
Those are in betweens.
Hey, and the newest, which I really liked using on my last trip is it MagLife?
Yeah.
Magnetic ones. They have those little thin ones, and you stick on the back of your phone, and it recharges your phone.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's real thin, and you don't have to have a certain port, a certain cord. You just slap it on the back of the phone. And
Was that allowed on the plane?
It was allowed in my luggage.
Okay.
I was able to put it in my luggage.
Okay.
Now, they didn't ask me about it, so I don't really, I might get arrested now by an air marshal, but I put it in underneath.
No.
So I don't know if
that's fine.
that was legal or not.
Not as a carry-on, because
it didn't explode.
Yes, lithium ion on fire.
Yeah.
And it's not the normal fire. It's a different fire.
Yeah.
But anyway, again, have a band tool. I use what's called responder shears as scissors. Now, those things will cut through anything, so you can actually just keep those in there instead of scissors. And they cut well, and they cut pretty clean, with like silks or something. I probably don't want to do that, but hey,
but if needed, it'll cut through.
And also, if you have a kid that's going into cardiac arrest and you have to put an AED in, you have shears ready to go. And most of the time they're in those kits, but I'm one of those people that I'd rather know I have it versus, not knowing that I don't have it.
Yeah.
And also I have tourniquets in that bag as well. I have the most common ones are the cat kind, so they're wind up ones. And do your trainings on those. And I also have what's called a rat, which is basically a rapid version of that. Basically, the way I can explain it is it's a surgical tube with cloth over it, and it can also cut off blood circulation as well. So that's more of I know how to use that, and I use that because I've trained with it. Don't do it if you've never been trained with it, because if you don't do it the right way, it doesn't work. I know,
And
shocking.
they could lose a limb.
Yeah. Well,
If you don't do it right, if they leave it on too long, or I don't have the training, so I'm asking. I'm not telling you. I'm
well,
asking.
I from what I always was told with those
If you're at the tourniquet point,
yeah, I'd rather lose the foot than die at this point. But, I've always heard that it takes a lot more than just a couple hours. Like,
Okay.
there's one story is he lost his arm, but he had the tourniquet on for like 48 hours.
Wow.
So I think it takes a lot of time. And I don't think it was because of the tourniquet. I think it was because the arm was basically uh, rotted out basically at that point because of whatever it was called. Well, anyway,
Gangrene.
yeah, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's how it really works. Again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm a band director. So uh, you should. But from what I was always told, tourniquets, they don't do that for a variety of reasons because they're just designed to stop the bleeding. And it takes a lot for our bodies. Our bodies are more resilient than what people think.
And I would say too, I mean, as a band director, we're not going to be that far from real medical help in most cases.
In most cases.
You know what I mean? So get the bleeding stopped.
Yep. And then I also have what's called a MyFac Mini Pro, which is basically a really small first aid kit that has a couple other things. And I also have a Stop the Bleed kit. Now, the Stop the Bleed kit, the one I put on there especially, it's a great kit. It's actually kind of designed like those AEDs. Here's a step by step of making sure this person survives kind of deal. Here's the problem with that. When we went through the wreck, that's what we had. We had one. Those are designed for one person. We had 30 kits on that bus. I made it stretch out to 3.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
And then when the EMTs arrived, it was fine.
Yeah.
But it's designed for one person. And what people have to understand is money it's expensive. It is expensive.
Yeah.
Buy it. Just do it. Get more than one. Every band director has to have at least the one person one on them. Every coach should have one on them as well, because you just never know.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah. And then I have what's called the big black bag. I have my students have come up different names with them. One was the Armageddon bag, and there's already more. And there's 2 other names, and we're not saying that because this is a family and friend podcast.
you'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised if Rick can help fix it for us.
Just instead of cutting it out, just put the bleeps. I find this more funny. It's like, what are you saying now? So the big black bag, it's the MyMedic's medic bag. It's advertised and it's kind of true. There's a lot. It's mostly like an EMT in a bag. So I have a lot of stuff in there that, frankly, the American Heart Association and the Red Cross basic training thing is not going to cover. So I had to go out and do a little bit of more training through other avenues and kind of work through that to just really become comfortable with it, because really that was I guess a grief buy in a way, because the bag had everything I need for when that wreck happened. But they have, my medic has like that bag, that's like their premium, like the big kid, like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then they have like one more step down, which is basically I think it's like 4 stop the bleed kits and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't have any like neck braces. It doesn't have the stable gun for stuff like that. I don't carry that because that's a little much for me. But that bag, I carry it, but I carry what I'm comfortable with now and what I know I'm gonna use out of it. Um, that's a bag that don't carry it unless you're gonna, learn how to use it.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you take the stuff out of the bag that you don't feel comfortable with and just
Yes.
leave it somewhere else?
Yeah,
And then
well,
later on, you might train,
yeah,
but it doesn't sit in the bag because I'm thinking, what if an EMT showed up? Then you'd say, well, I've got this,
yeah, and there's a couple of things
but
like
I'm not
that.
trained for that, but
Yeah.
it's in the bag. So I just want to know what your take on it was,
So part of it is like, for instance, there's a staple gun for, those really bad wounds, right? Um,
especially head wounds. Oh
yeah.
my God, they just, yeah.
But that's something I don't carry in the bag at all because you never know. A kid might get into it and go, "Hey, check this out," or like, or a parent in some cases. You never know.
Or a band director.
Yeah, that's Anton Shark. But part of it is that, but there's a couple things in there that I'm not comfortable using.
Okay.
Um, and I just know, but I know it's safe enough to keep in there because if, for instance, EMT needs something and I have it and it works, let's use it because they will.
Yeah.
Because it's just one of those deals. And this is where I get real. Don't buy this stuff on Amazon.
I
Don't.
was going to ask you, they need to get on this. I'll interrupt you for a second. Sorry, JJ. But on look at the form of that you're submitting, because a lot of stuff you have buy on Amazon. Other stuff do not buy on Amazon. So
Yeah.
I would follow JJ's directions on that. So back to you, sir.
And the reason why for that, and this is it's not a diss on Amazon, it's just how they do their products, right? Everything that they sell goes into a gigantic bin at these stations where they work at, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, they could have those name brand tourniquets that are really awesome and everyone uses them, but they're being thrown into a bin. The bin's being thrown around the warehouse. The warehouse is, not, who knows,
Might have
for
sat there for a year and a half.
years. Yeah. So you have no idea what those things have been through. So it's very important to get that stuff from people like I think I put like Stop the Bleed as the main people to buy from
Okay.
because that's what they do. That's their company scene.
So people can just Google that and it'll
Yeah.
bring
And
it.
those look like hyperlinks. They can just click that hyperlink, right?
Cool.
Mhm. And I know people will say it's like, well, that's really expensive. How do I convince my school district to invest in something like that? And would tell them, how about you show them the picture that they used for the wreck?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that would explain everything.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, and people really do think about the money side of it. And it's just it's crazy to me, but
It's real callous, but there is
yeah,
that money side of it.
yeah.
There is.
But yeah, but kind of going back into that, really take the time into that training. It's really it's not fun. In some cases it's kind of fun because it's like, oh, this is something new you're learning. And a lot of things that we're not comfortable with doing is that we just don't understand what
Where could we look for? Because now you've got me inspired.
Mhm.
Because I do a lot of clinics and things for bands, and I'm there. Where would you go to? American Red Cross? Would you go to local universities,
anything like that.
PA
Or
programs,
Mhm. Yeah,
all of the above?
all of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah,
Okay.
and just
I'm going to do some calling around
yeah,
people.
calling helps a lot. A lot of these people, they look at it as the more people that are trained in this is more people get to survive something that happens, right?
How cool.
Because the job, if you look at it, the job of an EMT of an ambulance, it's not to keep the person like to help the person and survive and everything's great. No, it's to keep that person alive.
Till they get to the
So
hospital. Yeah.
and their logic is this person's now trained to keep this person alive for the ambulance to get there to keep them alive to get to the hospital. So it's just a
It's a
chain.
cool way of saying it.
Yeah. It's a chain reaction. It's a lot of fun times. Anyway, but yeah, so enough with the everyday and
Yeah.
people are now curious or now scared to be around me when we go to other places now.
I tell you what, though, JJ, this is kind of ends our first portion of it. So I didn't know if Derek had any questions because we wanted to do this on how we set up. I've got maybe a couple of questions, but what are you thinking, Derek? Because we're kind of at the close of our podcast for this episode.
Yeah, and honestly, this may be the close of our second episode, just based on the time frame. But um, here, here's my questions. Number one, do you let your district know that you're trained in this stuff?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. That's
Do they? Do they? I mean, I don't know if you're certified necessarily. I know you got training, but do they consider you a not necessarily an EMT, but
So now my certification is just that first aid stuff, and that's why I also don't carry a lot of that real
Real
stuff.
medical.
Yeah, that real tough stuff. Because my certifications for those expired, and at the same time, I don't really want to go through that training right now. I know I just said it's like go through all this training. It's like right now.
But you want to put in like a breathing tube or something. Yeah, because that
But let me ask it a different way. I have to ask it this way, and so don't be offended to me at all. I understand why you don't care a stapler, because if I staple somebody's head and then I had to answer for it, are you sure that's what they needed?
Yes.
How did you make that determination? There's a lot of that I really don't want to have to answer.
yeah.
It doesn't mean I don't want to help somebody.
Mhm.
And I always think offering the aid, I'm the guy, I'll jump in and let's get her done and I'll deal with the consequences later.
And
But at the same time, is that part of the concept of they know you're carrying this, or
yes,
take the opposite side of that? Well, we don't have to worry about anything because JJ's got it.
it's a yes or no on that one. It kind of depends who the district is. Um, and that's kind of like one of those you have to walk the gray kind of areas. It's kind of tough to look at that one and give a straight answer because there is a lot of legality and stuff like that.
Right. And here's the other part of that question. As a person who has a lot of people that work, uh, for lack of a better term, under me, if somebody walked into my office and goes, "Hey, I'm new here, but let me tell you all the things that I can do. And I carry all of this equipment and I do all of this." The first thing I'm going to do is go, whoa, let's slow down. So I think that there's probably some, uh, a better way to approach some of this with the district or with your administration, et cetera.
So I was very transparent when I moved on to Cross Plains ISD, where I currently work. Jesus knew from the get go because he had, I think he put the two and two together, but he had called people around that knew me when I was in that Region 7 at that time
Yeah.
that were like, yeah. Uh, and so he put two and two together. But like in the interview, I was very blunt with admin. It's like, so I went through this
Mhm.
and I've done this. I don't, and it wasn't like a brag or anything. It's just like, so if you hire me, this is the package.
Yeah.
As it's a lot. And there are times where it's still hard for me to get on a charter bus. It's still hard for me, especially those snub nose charter buses. That's really hard to one look at and two getting on. Um, so I know my limitations now.
Mhm.
2 years ago and a little further back, no. And that's part of a lot of those issues that I was going through. But to answer that, the question, sometimes just asking your school nurse what they believe you should be allowed to carry, and they're going to be blunt about it. And some of them will say, never use this and take it out of the bag. And then you'll have some that will say, never use this. But there's a stretch of road. We're going to a football game where the closest hospital is 20 minutes, but the drive is about 5, to get like they can get over there in 5 minutes, but to stabilize,
Mhm.
and if it's a whole bunch of them, they might not be prepared. It's all these kind of issues that,
Yeah.
like, there's this stretch of road that I can think of. Going to Canyon was a good example. After you pass, I want to say what Level Land or something like
Plainview.
Plainview.
Once you pass Plainview,
There's
it's
nothing.
yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
nothing. And part of the reason why we had uh people able to get through what we got through the day we went through ours we were in the middle of Big Spring, Texas,
Yeah.
and on I-20, the most used road in Texas at this point,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I'm sure someone will say that's wrong, but whatever. But it's one of those, like, everybody's there.
Yeah, and you're right. There's only 3 interstates across our country.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then
And that's one of them.
another example is because I went and worked with the great staff there at Pecos. I mean, you go past Monahan's, there's nothing. Then Pecos. Then you go past Pecos, there's definitely nothing. And then Alpine, you know. And so that's kind of the logic of that bag as well, is if I absolutely have to do it, I'm going to have to do it, because you might have it may take 30 minutes for them to get out there, not because they're slow, but because it's going to take about
Yeah, we just have a lot of geography. And there's a lot of places in our country we have a lot of geography.
Yes.
And listen, I think it's very admirable, and I'm 100% awesome grateful that you have trained yourself to do that. I just wondered if you approach that in any certain way with administration and or, the schools that you worked in. So,
And sometimes you just have to bend to their will on that one as well. If they're not comfortable with you carrying that bag, like, at all, just, I might not like it, but I'm going to have to, work with what I have at
Yeah.
least.
That was gonna be my only question, was pertaining to that. Do you go to the admin and say, "Is it okay for me to have this? To have these special shears, to have this type of tourniquets, to have" or whatever things need training, and do you give them documentation of your training?
They kind of just look at the first aid kit and stuff, or the first aid CPR training and stuff like that. And the other training, like I said, I let it lapse, and I'm not interested in doing that
Yeah.
right now. With the real extreme stuff, I should say, I just kind of was like, I'll just put it away.
Do you feel comfortable teaching the students in the band first aid techniques?
Well,
Or is it something that's like, "We need to get someone else in here to do this?"
yes and no.
Okay.
Like, I wouldn't mind doing that, but I want to go through that training that you have.
It'd be an awesome,
Yeah.
service that you could provide to school districts
And
as a first aid clinician.
it also kind of helps other like, for instance, when you do the CPR training stuff, it's kind of like a classroom ratio, right? You kind
Yeah.
of want to, like, probably 1 to 10 ratio, one
Mhm.
trainer, 10 people. But there's some school districts where you have we got 40 people coming and we have one trainer, so let's go. We gotta get it done. And it's nothing wrong with that, but it's a lot for that trainer to make sure that those people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, compression wise and rhythm wise and stuff like that. And again, you have those people that have gone, I've done this, this is like the 10th time in 25 years. So I don't, they're not going to try, or they're going to be over dramatic about something to,
Yeah.
kind of make it funny, right? So I kind of look at it as you're also helping take the weight off of one person that's doing the training, if I have that training as well. And
Nice.
yeah, and that's something I look at as I'd be willing to do that, but that real advanced stuff, I just kind of let that lapse, and I'm not comfortable with the advanced stuff anymore. Give me the first aid kit, stop the bleed kit, all that stuff. That stuff's gonna probably be the one thing you're gonna use all the
No.
time.
see, I even think that's more advanced than what most people are trained to do.
Mhm.
It's awesome. But again, we've talked about this from all different facets. I also think it's admirable that you have the constitution to say, I'm going to help this person.
Mhm.
I know there are people that would freak out in trauma and or the shock or fight or flight. They're always the flight person. They're never going to jump in and say, I'm here to help. So I think that's an important aspect of finding that person in your circle or on your staff that can do that stuff. And everybody needs to have some of that. Even if I'm the guy that supplies it, make sure you have the training. So when it comes down to it, it's reflex as opposed to now, what am I supposed to do with
Yeah.
this?
Because you'll default to what you know, and if you don't feel comfortable doing it when you're not in fight or flight, it's kind of like it's just like practicing for not a recital, right? we all have done the senior recital. We've all had to perform in front of people. Nobody that I know of, I'm sure some god tier performer has done this, where they sight read a concerto and said, "We went for it," and their heart rate was crazy, right? Yeah, just nailed it, right? Right. That probably
reading recital.
Yeah, that probably has not happened, and it probably wasn't that good if it did.
Yeah.
So, and I can say is, so a lot of like trainings, I got a little closer to one of my relatives that has gone through military service and seen things. And they actually ended up training people. And one of the things he always asks the recruits for the training that he does is, do you know how you react in a fight? You will be shocked by how many of those people had never been. They're wanting to get trained to carry a firearm on this type of base that I'm not going to talk about because, just one of those types of things. And you also want to know how to use explosives, and you've never been in a fight. And that's the logic that you have to go through.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like, how are you going to react? And that's a hard thing to say. Like, a lot of people wanted to say the moral thing and say, I'm going to run towards it. Not everybody.
Yeah.
And I know this, when my time came to run towards it or run away from it, I really wanted to run away from it. But I ran towards it because I said, somebody's going to have to take care of the kids.
Yeah.
And that was what pushed me to it. But and again, no one's going to fault you for running away, because that's also a lot.
Sure. I tell you what, JJ, your perspective on this has been inspiring. And your information is incredible. So please, folks out there, download the form. This will kind of close up the first portion of this, but it's only a little tease. The next episode is going to be kind of the aftermath of dealing with it when the event actually happens, and that portion of it, which I think is just as important. But thank you so much for all your information on this. I've learned a lot.
Yep. So, again, it almost sounds wrong to say it, but make sure you're paying attention for the next part, because I know there's more good stuff coming to help people cope with and deal with and move forward after something like that. So, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Appreciate it.